Peace, y'all. You know who it is. It's your boy, the Anarchist. I'm here with my boy, Mr. Fantastic.
Hello.
And Invisiblekatana.
Hello.
And we come into the podcast while I'm trying to show Mr. Fantastic how to snap. This is how you Snapchat.
I know how to
This
Snapchat.
is how you connect to the
My
world.
wife's on it, and I saw a filter for the first time yesterday, did one. And it was,
animals and stuff?
Yeah. And dude, filters make people look gorgeous. I was handsome yesterday, man. I was like, damn, look at me.
So that's how you get catfish.
You can record videos on this. This is how you put the words. It's like teaching a child.
Back in my day.
What's that video thing you see?
I remember the first smartphone. You couldn't.
Phones used to flip up and you could just tap on the. Hey y'all, peace. What's going on? Sorry about the bullshit.
Keyboard used to be in my hand.
Just type on the pad now. I got to swipe.
Did you guys have to do T9 texting?
Yeah, that's when you have to basically go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, that's where LOL
that's
and all that
T9,
stuff came from. Because you would have to sit there
too long. Yeah, you hit 4,
so you put.
I hate 9 because you have to go. That's X, Y, and Z. It's like, oh my goodness. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's called T9.
So that's why, that's where LOL and all that stuff came from. Was shorthand from that.
Wow.
So you can thank T9 for making people stupid.
I remember you had to do that because phones were with minutes. The more you text, the more minutes you gave us.
Or,
so it's like,
do you guys remember waiting until after 7 to call someone?
Oh yeah,
because after 7 it was free.
You'd
be like, all right, well, it's 7, but is it 7 on?
Yeah,
maybe I just wait a few minutes. I'll wait a few minutes, make sure. Is it Eastern time? Wait a second.
No, this is how conversations go. Hey man, quick, let me get off my minutes, man. Call me after 8, bro. Come on now, you know.
And that's just the updated version of people calling international and be like, call me back. It's like, all right.
Oh man.
Or do that everybody hates Chris thing when his dad would call collect. Like, Chris is me, so hang up the phone. He's like, don't have to drive this do like a whole paragraph.
See, everybody need that one cheap dad to keep everything going. That's 13 cents of milk you wasted. Everybody need that cheap dad. But what's up, y'all? You know who it is. A few nobodies. Let's get into it, man. We want to talk about the all-powerful Disney. The Disney Corporation.
Disney Fox.
Disney Fox collabo.
It scares me, but also at the same time, okay. So this is why it scares me. I love Fox products right now. They were the first rated R comic book movie. Gotham is amazing. Their channel FX has blown the doors off of what a cable channel is supposed to be. I mean, I religiously watch American Horror Stories. The new American Crime comes out next week, right?
Is Justified. That was like one of my favorite shows ever.
I mean, go way back. The Shield.
Yeah. And then they have some of the biggest comedies. They have Archer and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Atlanta is amazing. I mean, it's Fox is really coming to its own. I mean, it really found its niche. It knows what it's doing.
You can get their marathons.
But so
and they
this
use
is
FX for the
this
Simpsons
is.
too.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. Like what Disney has done with Star Wars and Marvel is incredible. It really is. I mean, what they've done for it has been awesome. But at that same time, 7 years ago, or not even 7 years ago, when I first wanted to show ZZ like comic books and all that stuff, it was really hard. Now it's easy as shit.
Yeah.
Her and her sisters watch like 3 or 4 Marvel shows that are
Disney
dedicated to them. And if you think about it, the Spider-Man, was that their first one they did? Was that the first one?
Homecoming, you mean?
Yeah. Was that the first Disney Marvel? No.
No, that was still just Sony.
Was it?
Yeah. The first first Disney, technically, I guess, X-Men movie won't be until after next year, I think, because everything that's technically coming out is still all Fox based.
Logan, and like they found what worked for them with what they had, and now Disney owns
all of it. Just everything.
I mean,
so I think this is a really good question. Own both off the top though. Huge thing, like we were talking about Last Jedi before, and the big thing is that some people are saying that Last Jedi feels super Disney-fied, but we did have 2 movies before that, and Rogue One is without a doubt not Disney-based with how that movie plays out with it's the war-based, Star Wars film. So I think with that precedent already being set, even though that wasn't R-rated, it was still war-based in Star Wars. Do you think we can still expect them to keep it like R-rated?
Nightmare Before Christmas and Dark Crystal and all that stuff. I love that
Dark
stuff.
Crystal is my movie.
Oh man, I love it. But FX is way darker than that. Fox is way darker than that.
Yeah.
And name a Disney
Dark
thing where it's super dark like that.
Yeah,
Didn't they do one of them? What's that actor name? He always doing them roles.
Johnny Depp.
No, but that's the thing. That's Tim Burton. Right. Like Tim Burton is
Tim
dark.
Burton will make it as dark as he can. Yeah,
as dark as he can under Disney. Like once like Tim Burton before Disney and Tim Burton not after Disney is two different Tim Burtons. You know, and like I just.
And like I was saying, that's the thing with Disney having Star Wars, where we got to see Rogue One as it was. That still wasn't R-rated. Like you're saying, Pirates of the Caribbean is dark and serious. It's pirates and they have horrors and all that stuff. But it's still like the Disney version of it, where it's like, they won't say like that's a horror. They'll say something else. Like, you won't hear that
They'll do a tongue-in-cheek thing because Disney's really good about that.
Yeah, so it'll all be PG-13. But do you think that they would really? Obviously the main thing is Deadpool. That'll be done before, or even if the deal is after or whatever, they're pretty much already doing that. So that should be fine. I would imagine they won't go in and be like, let's change this after the fact and everything. So they're still working on that technically, but that already started. So do you think that they will be like, let's change it now or try to...
Or do you think this is Disney's way of getting that demographic? I mean, it could be that way too.
That's true too.
Like,
that is the one thing they've always been out of because they are kids or teenagers.
Is Disney now considered a monopoly? I mean, think about
honestly,
it.
All the only person left is Universal. They tried their movie monster thing.
And Turner, and that's about kind
classic
of
movies.
No, I mean CBS. Isn't that still owned by Time Warner? Isn't that still a Time Warner company?
Yeah.
Right?
So which one?
CBS.
That is Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers. Right. But like,
Warner Brothers.
I mean, because you think about the four stations that everybody's grown up on, no matter what generation after TV was in households: CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox. Disney owns half of that.
And what's another? Because you can talk about Disney being a monopoly, but if you say that, you got a lot of monopolies in.
Well, you do, but to me that's part of the veil.
Does Disney own? Because one corporation I know that buys up a lot of stuff and you never know about it. Clear Channel, it's huge. I mean, it may not be as old as Disney.
Have you ever looked up? Is it Universal Products? The big U. Have you ever seen what they're parents of and what? Have you ever looked at that graph?
I've seen a lot of stuff from them.
They own like Pepsi and Frito-Lay's and they own Dove, I think, and Old Spice.
You'd be surprised. Look, the thing is, what corporations like to do is, and this is the really dangerous thing what people really don't think about. You can come up with a really good business in any industry, let's just say. The thing is, let's just say it's like automobiles. You come up in that, and after you get on and make a certain amount of money, one of the big corporations is going to come and offer you a amount of money that you're going to look like,
I'll never make this money.
Or we'll make sure you're super comfortable. Your kids will always be okay.
Exactly. They're going to give you that.
Give me the royalty.
Yeah, very
10%. We'll supply you with the products and stuff like that, and you can put us as tiny as you want. In fact, you don't even have to put us on the box or the car.
Nobody will know. It's like.
But we're signing your checks.
It's like one thing that I just noticed was a hip hop show that I watched, not so much anymore based on what's going on with it, but I watched faithfully every day for the last 8 months, was called Everyday Struggle. That's put out by a hip hop publication corporation called Complex. Most people just found out that corporation was recently bought by Verizon. And to me, that's an issue because Verizon is kind of he put
neutrality.
Put forth those people. So you can kind of see, like, if you go up the ladder, because I'm looking at a show called Everyday Struggle, put out by a company called Complex, now bought by a company by Verizon. But I wouldn't notice if I didn't have like hip hop whistleblowers to say, hey, this place owns that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of stuff. You looking at damn, Frito-Lay chips, like you just
it's just you never know who
owns
what. Yeah,
it's probably the
Big
same
Boy. Burger King, Taco Bell, KFC.
Yeah, they're all the same. Yeah,
they're all yum.
That's why there's KFC, Taco Bells all the time. Yeah, that's why you see those.
And
I think Pizza Hut is them too.
Yeah, Pizza Hut.
Taco Bell, Pizza Hut's are a thing.
Yeah. So most people are just finding out is that a lot of these people who have been in power for a long time stay in fucking power. They don't have a problem with giving you a few $1 million, buying your stuff, especially if they see it like as something that's gonna get as big as like I said, the YouTube guys don't own YouTube anymore. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, Google.
So. It goes like that. We're gonna buy out everybody. That's how you stay powerful until you get somebody that comes up to say, "Fuck you, no, you're not getting me." Yeah. That's what Disney was. Disney said, "This is my creation."
Nobody
I tried to get down with Hollywood, but this is my thing, and that's why Disney is one of those entities. Mm-hmm. It could have been boxed out a long time ago, but you have to have those type of entrepreneurs that say, "No, I know where this is going.
Mine is mine."
Yeah. So. Too many people are comfortable with that. We don't care that this place bought that place. Yes, it's a huge. You know what the biggest monopoly is? It's in politics.
Yeah.
Those corporations have lobbyists that funnel money into these politicians' pocket. They own them more than anything else. They own what laws about to be passed. Don't care how unpopular it is, i.e. net neutrality.
Just like the truth commercials, right? I always joke with my wife. Yeah. I'm like, I hate these commercials. She's like, why? I'm like, because I need a cigarette now. Like, I need to go have a smoke. She's like, are you fucking kidding me? It's telling you not to do it. And I'm like, no, I see the humor in it. Like, the bully one was my favorite, where, like, the kids out there dancing, getting all romantic, and you hear, hey, come on, it's time to go outside. And you're like, what the fuck? And it's this little cigarette, and you're like, oh my God, I've been there, I've done that, and guess who runs those ads? Philip Morris. You know why? What? Back in the 90s with the camel and all that stuff, and this is edited towards kids, and you falsified a lot of documents, so your punishment is you have to do commercials against cigarettes. But it's all subliminal messaging.
Right.
It's all like, for me, I see the humor in that, and I laugh about it. So my kid's sitting next to me, and she's like, oh, my dad thinks it's funny. It is cool to smoke. Ha 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 ha. And she's gonna light up.
Even deeper, even deeper than that, you go into a space where, and this is just how corporations do. When you get caught doing something evil, and then the government catch you and say, okay, you were doing something evil, now we're gonna, put you on like a probation. You have to do this for good.
And then we're gonna hike the price up and hike taxes, which puts more money in power people's pockets.
But not only that, no, these corporations are smart. They hire psychologists to market. So they know how to make a commercial that, yet again, on the surface, says don't smoke. But subliminally, a smoker's gonna look at it and say, damn, I gotta smoke. They could literally do something and show you imagery to make you go, fuck. I'm still gonna smoke, but fuck, that's making me think a little bit. But the fact that you had the feeling of, I want to smoke. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's subliminal messaging.
And then they find the people who are like, yeah, I saw that commercial and I didn't want to smoke. So it makes me go, fuck, is something wrong?
Yeah.
Like, is it, oh, fuck, man, I gotta go smoke a cigarette, think this through. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm serious, it's just this thing. And like, now Disney owns, let's be honest, the majority of comic books now. Disney owns the majority of childhood. Because tell me, outside, I guess Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, but like, they've got all the Fox rights now. I mean, all those kids shows that have been put on the books and all that.
Which would not be even then were mostly Marvel shows anyway. When you think about it, so
it's just it's insane. It's just insane. Like they really are taking over. They own the world, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, hey, but transitioning from that, because we also wanted to talk about, and this is kind of on the same lines. You was talking to me, Mr. Fantastic, about, we were talking about sports, things like this, media, in Invisiblekatana's case, video games, stuff that, I guess you can consider vices that take a lot of our time, attention, and most importantly, our energy. So I want to get you guys' thoughts about that. Is it a good thing, bad thing? What's that?
It is, it's a double-edged sword, without a doubt, because I would say if you go the realm of sports, we talked about this before. Most people who are black most black guys want to grow up to be basketball players. That is insanely unlikely. Any person, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter your race. It is insanely unlikely to get into any sport on a professional level.
And I wanted to talk about that because a lot of people, if they feel like they don't make it, that they're I gotta do the other three things I'm told I can do. Right. So
I think that also ties into what we talked about with like your dreams and stuff. I mean, so many people was like, that's what I want to do, and then you don't make it. It's like, well, crap. everyone always says the crap like, oh, have a backup plan. It's like, no one's backup plan is as cool as the dream that you have.
Right.
It's still your backup plan. But it's definitely that thing where it's a double-edged sword where you can make it, but it's so insanely rare that you will. And I think, it's weird with sports and how big it is. Like, for me, I'm not really into, like, any of the main sports. Like, I love martial arts. So if that became bigger, I would love to watch martial arts stuff. I would watch the martial arts tournament and stuff like that.
What about, do you ever watch, like, mixed martial arts?
Yeah, like, I don't really watch MMA that often. Sometimes I do, but it's not very often. Like, I like martial arts, but it's like, I don't know. I guess a part of that is honestly, like, I actually know what styles I like to watch. Right. So it's like, I'll just see somebody fighting in whatever random way. And plus, that's in a totally, like, MMA is different than, like, watching a judo competition or any true martial arts.
I think the key part, too, is, like, I was just getting ready to show D and be like, man, we're losing. We're about to blow this game.
Sports alerts, yeah.
Yeah, I ain't fucking playing this game. Right. I'm not even fucking watching it, but here I am, like, man, we might, like, my mood's starting to change.
But that's my dad. Every time we talk about U of M, I'm like, I could not possibly care less. I went there. I do not like sports.
Right. That's your school, son.
Yeah, I could
that's
not.
Your school.
Look, we won. Nice. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but that's the thing. The three things we talked about it feels inclusive. We're allowed to be included in it. It's like there's a whole industry. People have made millions of dollars off analyzing sports, off talking about sports, off playing video games, analyzing video games, off acting, analyzing. I mean, the last podcast, we talked for almost half an hour about an actress, right?
Yeah.
About a personality. So, like, and I could talk hours about sports. You give me a topic and I'll talk about it. I mean, I'm one of those people where I'll watch bowling if it's on. Like, I just like sports. That's what I like.
Like, I'm the type of person where it's like bowling is a good example for me. I love bowling because I used to bowl like crazy. But outside of that, if I'm not at the game, I do not care about the game. Like, I'm not going to watch anything. I think we mentioned this before, but I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl. I'll record it and be like, let me fast forward through this because I don't care. Let me see these funny commercials that I can probably just find online anyway. But that's it. Like, that is it. I don't care about if it's, like, I support my home teams. I don't really care that much, but it's like, I hope the Lions actually do anything. Yeah, that would be a change.
Like, for me, Kansas City all the way. Like, when the Royals won the World Series, I mean, that's in, like, my top 10 moments. Why? Man, I've had 4 kids. I've gotten married. I've graduated high school. I've, got a degree. I've been promoted at my job. And then there's the Royals winning the World Series in the mix of that. And I'm like, why the fuck?
So think about this.
And my wife's like, I'm so proud of, he's stuck with his team.
Yeah.
On the couch watching it, like, checking what did I do? But anyway, go.
When was, like, do you know, like, the stats for when they won the World Series before the last time?
The Royals?
Yeah.
1985.
Okay, it was, 100 years for the Cubs? Or something insane like that? They went freaking ballistic. Because they won the World Series. That was, like, just out of
And that's
nowhere.
how it was. Almost 1 million people showed up for the parade march in Kansas City. There's like a sea of blue and like Royals stuff skyrocketed. And I'm telling you, I grew up with the Royals where you could walk in after the 4th inning for free because they were losing 100 games a season. I mean, it was awful. Like, it was, our team was awful. I mean, at one point, the joke in Kansas City was that we were the major league farm system because out of our team, and this may not mean anything to you guys, but the listeners who are sports fans came Matt Damon, Jermaine Dye, Carlos Beltran. Those guys started with the Royals. And they were traded off because we were a small market team. Kaufman had died. They were trying to save money, whatever. So, like, to see that was amazing. But why? I enjoyed the games.
No matter what.
No matter what. Like, when I was a kid, like, I remember I called my dad's boss because we were really close, his principal, and I said, listen, call him into his office and tell him to take the day off. I'm waiting outside here. And there was this new pitcher called Zach Greinke that we had just acquired. And my dad was super excited about him. I was super excited about him. So we went and saw his first ever Major League game. And it was like the day after opening day or something like that. And for me, when I think about the Royals, when I see the Royals, when I reminisce, when I'm trying to show my kids sports and stuff, those are the kind of memories I think about. So, like, I want to hate sports. I want to say this doesn't matter.
But it does.
But I freaking almost lost it at TV Diner because the Chiefs blew the playoff game last week. I'm a grown-ass man with my family around me, and I'm like, this motherfucking Alex Smith, piece of shit. And people are looking at me. My kids are all running all over the place, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, why do I
go to a bar and if it's like some playoff game? I was there. I think it was I forgot when, but it was like I think it was the Packers or something. I knew someone and it went down to like the crazy touchdown when they did like a full thing, and then it was like tied, and it was just like crazy in the bar. Like, how's this gonna play out? And then they lost, and it was just like, or if whoever was supposed to be doing it lost, and it was like devastation.
One of my mentors, the owner of the Golden Corral I worked for, used to be like, man, I hope the Chiefs lose. I'm like, why? Why? He goes, because they are, yeah, I hope they lose. And I'm like, why? He's like, depressed people like to eat, Nathan. Depressed people like to eat. And it's true. And they won't go to the game, and you know, because people are like, they're going to lose anyway. Might as well stuff my gut with food. And it was true. When the Chiefs sucked and they weren't any good, and everything, we were busy as shit. But when they were winning, we were dead
at the games.
It's interesting you bring that up, because the reason for that is us as human beings, we have a really tribal nature.
Yeah.
And you can find that in anything. You know, if you go back just a few hundred years, there was really no concept of black and white. We were white slaves in America. A lot of people don't know that history, but because a few elite people say, you know, it's probably smarter if we take these people, you know, because it's documented American revolts with black and white people. But they said we could probably stop these if we tell these people that they're with our tribe, they're with us, and we're actually against those people. So you get the same kind of dynamic in sports where you can kind of hold on to a team because they're either from your town, you like them for whatever, they're from your college. It taps into a human psychology aspect where you want to self-identify. Even if, let's say, you know, you're growing up as a kid and you're not into sports. And, okay, you may say something like, oh, well, now I feel like an outcast because it's nothing that I can identify with if I don't like sports.
And I think that's why, like, comic books and
right,
games and video games and stuff
so now you can
blew
self-identify
up because you can...
Yeah, even though on the outside, it wasn't back then like a cool thing to be a nerd, but inside you could feel, well, at least I belong to somebody.
Yeah.
At least I could talk to people about things that I like.
You may not think it's cool, but me and my 10 friends think this is badass. Exactly, or me and my 2 friends think this is badass, which is more accurate. But.
Exactly. So you have those people who just like, look, I just want to self-identify with something that's closer to me. Either it's my hometown, it's something that I, love to do,
just
believe in.
Like.
And that's true. Like, I get so excited. Like, I wait for the day that the Chiefs' national schedule comes out. Like, and last year when they were like, they got 6 primetime games, I'm like, fuck yes! Because... And it's the only time that I'll watch the pregame. I'll watch everything. You know why? Because they show shots of Kansas City. They show the barbecue. They show the fountains. They show places that I have attachments to. They show the fountain that I proposed to my wife at almost every time. And so like for me that's fucking cool.
It's like every time I watch 8 Mile, I'm like, I know that place. I was just over there.
And that's too. Like she loves Tim Allen, and every time we watch a Tim Allen thing, she's like, look, he's wearing a Michigan shirt. Look, he's wearing, and I'm like, all right, but I get it because that's how I am when I'm watching sports or I'm watching something about Kansas City. Like we watched Switched at Birth, and the only reason I would watch that is because it's based in Kansas City, and a lot of the places I was like, okay. And the dad was actually a retired Royals pitcher, like a fake one, And so like I'm like, I know that Overland Park. I drove there every day, like
they just mentioned
it's crazy to me because in the grand scheme of things, the Chiefs losing the playoff game last week or the Royals winning the World Series or whatever has dog shit to do with my day. Right. It has nothing to do with my day.
In fact, you would be more productive if you didn't do that.
Exactly. If I wasn't letting my kids run around a restaurant while I'm cursing at the one TV in the restaurant, you know what I mean? So.
And I think, just to touch on this for a little bit, but I think it's kind of like that with video games. Maybe definitely to a lesser degree. Obviously, it's not.
I think it's to a more because I feel like
the reason I would say lesser is because even though games are huge, I would say in the context of like you mentioning the tribal element, games are huge. But I can tell you without a doubt, like 2 of my cousins that we used to hang out all the time. All we did was like play games. They couldn't care less about games now. Like one of my cousins.
How old are they now? How old are they now?
They're like the same age as me. One is 1 year older, one is 1 year younger. Okay. So it's like all we did was used to play games and stuff, and that was it. But they don't really care about that, and I still do. So it's that thing. That's why I would say it's not.
But let me ask you: when you guys get together, do you guys play video games or talk about video games?
we at least talk about like anime. I would say is the thing because Dragon Ball Z, like that's everybody across the board.
When my dad comes to visit, sports is on the TV all the time. When my dad's not here, sports is on when the Kansas City's on, or when it matters. That's it. But when he's here, it's sports all the time.
And I would say that kind of depends on the person, because like with them, even if we did hang out, we probably would play games, but I don't think they would care as much about that as I would, because I'm still the one who's like, I love playing video.
Well, that's the same thing about the sports with me. Like, my dad is so really into sports. Like, when the Chiefs win, every time, doesn't matter if it's 1 in the morning or 2 o'clock, I'll just call him up, leave him a voicemail, go, Chiefs! You know, like, so, but I do that because I know he enjoys it so fucking much. And I think that goes back to your tribal thing. Like, that's a really good, I never thought of it that way. And that's like a really good thing, is you just feel connected with somebody.
Yes. Without a doubt. My uncle went to Michigan State and I went to U of M. So every time it's, go green, and it's like, I don't care. But, that's his thing.
Yeah.
Even though
every post on Facebook when there's a game, it's him happy. And I'm just like, I don't.
Even though you are both literally a part of the same tribe.
Yeah, exactly.
The fact that you went to 2 different schools, fuck blue.
He wrote it in I think it was in my, the graduation note. He was like, all this lovely stuff. He's like, at the end, go green.
Yeah. But that allows us also to get to know each other better and deal with the awkward silence, or deal with the, rekindling whatever you had before. Like, me and my dad, we don't always have a heart to heart, but we want to know how each other's doing, how life's going. So we start with sports. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, that's our thing. Mm-hmm. And for me, like, and hopefully for you guys too, like, we all have our niche, right? Like, we all have our weird things that we do.
Yeah.
That's
wait.
I mean, it's done in the series. Yeah, it's pretty much our 3 things. Is like, I mean, it's not a weird niche, but you're the family man.
I mean, particularly, I don't have a weird niche, but I understand y'all having some. So
come on.
Flat Earth. You brought that
up. everything I know is I would say probably conventional and normal, but some of the stuff y'all get into, we won't talk about that right now. But
the weird crap.
But like movies, like there's a song that's not that good by Macklemore. With Ed Sheeran about the rapping to his kid. Doesn't know what the gender is, so he does a boy verse and then a girl verse.
Is that same song?
It goes, I know the hook. Ed Sheeran sings it, can hardly wait a month, finger around my thumb, whatever. And one of the lines is he talks about religion. And he says, learn about God, but start with dogma. Well, that, to me, I'm like, yeah, Macklemore, I love that, because for me, like, that's where I based my thought process when I was 14, 15, going through all that shit. I watched Dogma, and it changed the way I thought about certain things. Yeah. And so, like, that, to me, that's why entertainment is so big, because, I can go, man, have you seen, Donnie Darko? And you may go, yeah, it was all right. And you may go, fuck, man, that movie changed my life. Me too, we're all of a sudden we're having a conversation for an hour because of something we both had similar feelings for. So, like, I don't know, that tribal thing, though, that's what it is. Like, you feel connected and you feel like you're part of something, even though you're not at all.
The team could, make $1 billion or lose $1 billion. That has absolutely nothing to do with you. But symbolically, you feel close to it.
And entertainment and video games too. Like,
gamers go crazy when games happen again. How could they do this? Sony doesn't care about the consumer.
Resident Evil come out, I'm like super happy. I'll be like tearing up. Like, Resident Evil. I'll be super freaking excited if like one of my favorite franchises comes out, or E3 is a huge example.
And on even a smaller scale, we talked about it earlier. What do you look forward to for the week? Like what was one of the things you were looking forward to?
The example, the
answer's the podcast.
I wanted to go to the movies.
But no, like for me, it's something I look forward to, and it's because we all 3 have a connection. I mean, we've really gotten to know each other and have fun and
love talking, love the different perspectives. It's just anything. And I think it's a good it is a good thing to find something that, even if other people think, oh well, that's just sports, it doesn't mean anything, or that's just games, get out of that, or that's just no. Really, life doesn't mean shit. We in a fucking rat race. You gotta go to work just so you can lose your money off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just make deplete. Do something that you like. That's really what folks is missing out here. They working, they doing this. It's the rat race. They not spending time in your passion. And really, this sort of society, they reprimand you for liking your passion. you playing all these games. You need to, think about like, you're in a sports. You're not a sports player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Focus on your business. Focus on your kids.
Watching TV dumbs you down, stuff like that. It's
I
learned a lot of stuff, a lot more from TV than I learned from school that I remember. Like you learn
all
sorts
mind
of weird
control.
stuff.
All mind control. That's why he's a robot today. But yeah, that's just how it is. Get into what you love, man. That was that. But I want to get into, because Mr. Fantastic told me something interesting today. He's heard Eminem, his new revival album. And you had words, choice words. What do you think about that album?
It's trash. I mean, it's I want to like it because it's Eminem, and like I grew up with him, and like he introduced me to a whole style of rap and music.
Thank you. Will we not argue? I was sitting here like, come on, because I'm not. Look, and I was saying that at the time. I'm like, I'm not about to get into the past because he's Eminem. Put out the music. Give me good music. That's all I care.
But he's still one of the greatest rappers ever.
I don't give a fuck. If the greatest rappers start putting out shitty music, guess what? You're not the greatest rapper.
But they've all put out shitty music. All great rappers have put out shitty music, except for the ones that got shot and died.
Well,
Eazy-E even put out shitty music.
Eazy-E put out shitty music. Eazy-E was not a rapper. He rapped, he wasn't a rapper.
Yeah, Ice Cube has put out shit.
Ice Cube put out some shitty ass music. I would tell you that. I don't put Ice Cube on the pedal like he's the best though.
You don't?
No. Ice Cube?
Yeah, I liked Ice Cube.
No, I ain't gonna lie. He got skills, but
even Outkast put out shit, and Outkast was ahead of their time.
Name the shit they put out. That was shit. That's blasphemous.
Movie that they did.
That's a movie. They're a rap group. Can they?
Yeah, but they promoted it.
They songs for that.
Yeah, they promoted it as
songs were good.
They promoted it as everyone's coming out with music videos. We have a whole album that we created a movie off of. Like that's how it was promoted.
The movie was terrible. The music was good though. If not just average. I've never known Outkast put out any shitty tracks, and that's knowing that they even Big Boy put out solo projects, all good. Outkast,
Andre 3000 even did like kid shit that was good. We've talked about it before. Class of 3000.
I can't name one thing that even had Andre 3000 in it that was trash.
Okay. All right.
I don't know.
When it comes to Eminem though, we got what? Revival. We have Relapse.
No, but see, I liked
have Marshall
Relapse.
Mathers LP2.
I liked Relapse, and Marshall LP2 was alright. This is just, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm just like, I mean, God, I heard it and it's just, and I'm like, okay, well, that's this song. Because he always had one or two of those songs. So I'm like, that's just this song. Let's listen to the next one. And then someone, and I'm like, what the fuck? Eminem, you used to talk about dicks and have people sucking on your interludes and shit. Like, what are you doing? I mean, I get getting old, but
he's a dad.
You think that's what? Because that's what I kind of thought too. Because like I feel like I still have the same sense of humor I did when I was in high school, but like there's a lot of stuff that I don't do in front of my kids that I wouldn't want them to know that I say. Right. You know what I mean? So like I get that to a certain extent, but I mean Ice Cube was able to make some decent kids movies. Like I don't, like other good artists or musicians or actors or whatever were able to transition with what they were going through in life. And so like maybe he's not one of the greatest because he wasn't able, but
I will say this to the point with Ice Cube. The thing is, Ice Cube made those corny ass kids movies to appeal to a larger audience, whatever. But when he put out music, he still stayed to what he was used to. I remember one of the last songs I remember hearing after he put out "Are We Done Yet?" or "Are We There Yet?" One of those was a song he did with Snoop. If you scared, go to church. Like he was still into that. So I'm like, people still was like, okay, you can do. It almost gave him a pass for the corny shit because it was like, that's movies. We see you as a rapper.
And he's like, maybe how I still feel as a dad too is like, yeah, I'm a dad and I want to appeal to my kids, but I still like to fuck some motherfuckers up. I still like to rap, about where I'm from and who I used to be or who I am still, because like. That's me, I still make crude ass fucking jokes and I still say fuck all the time and shit, but like, I sat and watched Disney cartoons for like 2 hours today. I wouldn't do that if my kids weren't around. You know what I mean?
And I want to get your take on this, guys, both Mr. Fantastic and Invisiblekatana. You guys, I don't think are too familiar with this guy, but a rapper, media dude now, Joe Budden. He came out on the show I was speaking about in another podcast, Everyday Struggle, which I liked, and actually shitted all over Eminem's revival project, as most people did. Of course, Eminem he coined the word "stand," has a lot of stands. people who just say, leave Eminem alone, leave him alone, his album was good. You know, they got real low, but his album was good. But you know, most people who felt honest and who were M fans, he kind of went hard. He said it was trash. He didn't like any of the songs. Eminem need to get the fuck out of there. Eminem responded to this guy in a rap saying, because he was mostly a one-hit wonder rapper. He had that song. I know Terrence is gonna remember this, or maybe not. Pump, 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 pump. Pump it up. There you go. Yeah. So he kind of made mention that he's just a one hit, even though he said something about I split my fan base, because remember he went at the Trump thing, so he figured some white people won't like this. I split my fan base and still sold more than you. And not only
that's a hard line. Like that, I mean,
I'm letting you look. I'm totally unobjective. He did that. Whatever song it is, it's like I forget the name. We'll start with a C. He went hard on that. Eminem bodied that as a verse. That was a remix to a song that was on his album. He put the remix out afterward. Eminem just might be one of those artists that like somebody has to poke at you before you make something good. Yeah. When he's on the pedestal and everybody's sucking on him like, oh, Eminem's just the great, he's just the best. That's what they're doing now. That's what I'm getting mad at. Like, say he put out a terrible project. That's all you have to do. That's probably gonna make him go and do another Marshall Mathers or a Slim Shady. You know what I'm saying? Just don't put him on his pedestal where he can't do nothing wrong, because he clearly keeps putting out trash works. Not just projects, but songs. At least give me a good song. I could rock with an Eminem project if I just had one song to play on it. I could. Like I said, if he put that verse on the album, I'll be listening to it more. Because he actually was talking about something that I thought was... And he was doing this thing. Yeah. So, but it's interesting because 50 Cent went at Joe Budden. I'm gonna put hands on you. Bizarre from the group D12 went at him. So my question is, can people be objective anymore? Like, I feel like this is like a realm that I want to get into, but I don't, because it's like the way I am, I'm cruel with my word. I got to be blatantly honest. I'm not gonna hold back. I'm probably gonna put a few extras on it. So if I get into an industry where, you know, I'm saying something bad about a rapper, I don't want to. Yeah. I still want to feel safe.
But if you start out by doing that, then you've created your niche, quote unquote, right? So like, because Eminem created a whole career by being
the crazy guy,
the crazy guy, honest. Boy groups make me sick, you know.
And I can't wait till I catch all you in public. Yeah, I'ma love it.
Yeah, so like,
Vanilla Ice don't like me.
Yeah, but
I sat right beside his wifey.
But like, yeah, so like he, you know, but yeah, I don't know if people can be objective anymore. I mean, from a general standpoint, I mean, I think it's tough, because if you're purely objective, then the HM ad campaign doesn't ruffle any feathers. Then the Oprah thing is just a really good speech. Then
that's true. Yeah, we're not going crazy like, oh my God,
that new Horizon lineman, she's running for president.
She's the new wordsmith. She needs to be our president.
Yeah, and like, you know, Bill Nye still wouldn't have a career. Like, if everybody was just objective and just took everything as it is and didn't try to think about it, it'd be a lot easier, but it'd be a lot simpler, not as fun.
Yeah. I think there's definitely merit to that, like, because like I'm objective about most stuff. I mean, clearly, like we talked about me having a breakup, and I was like, oh, Justice League.
You were very objective. No, this is the first time I've seen someone go through a breakup and really see both sides. Like, well, you know, I need some things and I heard some things. I'm like, man, fuck that bitch. It's all her fault. I was good. I was doing everything I needed to do. This bitch came in. She was the devil. It was all her. He was like, no, there were things on my side. But if you ask her, there were a lot of things on my side. But I still feel like that. I'm like, I didn't do shit wrong. Rub that bitch feet every night. She was just a bitch. And that's why we broke. I would have no objectivity there. I'm like, it was all her.
I'm clean. I'm pure.
No, you were very objective. Go ahead.
But I think objectivity like that is like it's almost like you can't be objective to everything though, because
you gonna have.
I mean, if we had, I mean, like you mentioned the H&M thing, that's a simple thing where it's like, yeah, like I could be objective about that, but there's like actual racist stuff where it's like being objective about that is a bad idea. Like,
right,
you know, like so we definitely can't just have it. I mean, obviously, if those people were objective, then it wouldn't be a problem. But
like I said, it'd be
it could be boring. I mean, that would be better. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things where it's like the objectivity of it or not having an objective perspective all the time is what breeds the conflict, which is mostly entertaining to everyone outside of it. That's where the entertainment comes from. Like them having a conflict where, you know.
Yeah, but doesn't that create greatness too and great things? I mean,
it certainly can. Like creativity through adversity, I think is the actual saying. So without a doubt,
like one of the
pressure
big
makes the
arguments,
diamond. There's a lot of sayings like that.
What I always tell my wife is, you know, the kids are fighting with each other or whatever, and someone takes a toy and they run over and they're like, "My toy." I'm like, "Go get it back. Go get it back. See what happens. You can do it this way. You can do it this way. You can do it this way. See which one." No. We gotta tell. I'm like, no, they gotta figure this shit out. Because there's plenty of times that something's been taken from me, be it at a job or whatever, and I've had to deal with that because life doesn't have a mom by you all the time to coddle you and
someone
give you milk.
Help you out.
You know what I mean?
You got, you know, tough love, harsh lessons. Earlier today, my little cousin, I don't know what his deal is. He always be not doing his homework.
Fuck homework.
And well, he's in, like, he doesn't have a choice. He's in like elementary school still, so he has to do it to go to do something. He had to at least be out of high school to say have homework.
Right.
But yeah, it's like, all right, well, somehow he didn't. I took him to school yesterday. Was his first day because him and his brother moved out in my aunt. So they just moved out near us. So both of them went to their new schools now. So they go to two separate schools. I was like, all right, take them and whatever. So he's the younger of the two. So I took him in and I actually like met his teacher, and it was like, she asked him like, what do you normally get in trouble with? What type of kid are you? And he mentioned sometimes he doesn't do his homework. So she was telling me like math homework every single day. I was like, okay. She told me like 3 times because it was like, clearly I need to make sure somebody knows he has homework all the time. I went and took them to get some food today. We go back, they eat. Mom's like, so where's your homework? I don't know. Where, like, how you expect to have help if you don't even know what your homework is? Like, he's not writing the questions down and doing whatever, and he's getting yelled at, and I'm like, typical kind of black mom yelling. So I'm there, I'm like, okay.
Were there belts involved?
See, I was about to get to that. So
don't incriminate anybody.
No, okay, so
you go to jail.
I'm the old
now, which is fucking stupid, man.
So, I'm the older cousin, so I'm just like, I do the word stuff. I can't be breaking that barrier because I'm supposed to be the older, fun-loving cousin. My dad is older than my aunt.
Fun-loving? Go ahead.
Well, that's the thing. So, my dad is older than my aunt. He's 13 years older. So, that's their mom. He's 13 years older than their mom. Their uncle is not going to care. My dad does not care. He will come in, and it's belt time automatically. So, it's where's the homework?
He like Pootie Tang. It's like a samurai sword. You get you around the corner, thought that ass was gone, didn't you?
So, my dad came over and they're talking about it. My grandmother was there because my grandmother actually lives like around the corner from my aunt. So he was helping her. They brought some stuff in. We just all happened to be there, and he's getting in trouble for not having his homework. And I'm like, okay, it's the talking at first, and it's the same problem. Literally, like I said, second day of school, and it's somehow he's not doing his homework already. So my dad's not the happiest about that. And it's like, okay, I don't remember exactly how it happened. I just remember because he was talking about the bell, and I was just like, oh, it's threats. And I was like in a different room. I was just like in another room talking, and then there's just crying. And I was like, well, there you go. And it has begun. And I was like, damn. It has begun, and then tears have started. And it was like,
man, and it's so hard because like I've got 4. ZZ, I'm super hard on. I'm like, why the fuck isn't this picked up? Whatever. Like, why isn't this picked up? Why aren't you doing this? Oh, I'm sorry, Dad. She'll do it. Whatever. We'll have her thing. Lulu, I'm like, okay, well, why don't we talk about it? Go to timeout. Whatever. Addie, I'm like, oh my God, you're so cute. Just come here. Like it's so like I have like
with the ages,
it
changes up.
So hard, man. And like you touch on it. Like you're terrified to talk about how you punish your kids because you're like, well,
this get out to the wrong.
This gets out to the wrong person.
You'll get knocked on your door. Excuse me.
Yeah, I know, because it's like. One of the things that I'll do is if they don't pick up their toys, I grab a trash bag.
I'm sorry.
And I go, okay, if you're not going to help me, then I pick up whatever I want, and whatever I think needs to be in the trash is in the trash. It's my go-to. Because it works. No. Yeah, they're like, we'll pick up for like 10 minutes until they find the toy they want, and they're like, boom! Yeah. So anyway, and it was last Christmas, and my mom's like, you can't do that. That's horrible. I'm like, are they picking up? Are they learning consequences? Well, yeah. And I'm like, don't tell me how to fucking raise my kids. Because
Mom, I know parenting better than you, Mom.
Oh my God!
me.
Don't even get me started on that. So when we had our first, we were like, we're gonna be all organic. We don't need help.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. We're like, my mom's like, okay, so you don't need me. We're like, no, we're fine. So I dropped off at the house with a newborn baby with shit just everywhere, like new diapers, stuff, all our bags from the hospital, everything. I'm like, okay. And it's a Sunday, and it's like 7 o'clock at night, and I can't find a pharmacy. So I'm obsessed with trying to get this medicine. Left my phone at home.
Damn.
I get back in an hour to a postpartum wife in tears with a baby crying. And I'm like, what the fuck kind of life is this? Instantly call my mom. Mom, you know all that shit I said? I was just kidding, Mom. Please come back. And she, the way she tells it is a lot funnier because she's like, I literally just sat down, was getting ready to watch my show, and here's the phone. Come back! Just come back. So she ended up staying for a week, and we always, and that's how we always did it. Like, one of the parents will stay with us for about a week when we have a newborn.
That first adjustment.
Yeah.
There you go.
But, like, that's the thing is, like, I don't know what to do with the adversity thing and all that stuff because, like, there's no handbook on this. Spanking your kids created a lot of geniuses. Being bullied created a lot of good things. But is that the best route? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know the other route, so let's see what happens, you know? Like, and then it's like, and then the old generation's like, man, this new generation is such a bunch of pansies. No, we're not. We just love everybody. Like, we just, you know, we're just trying to be nice and all this stuff. So, like,
There's
is that the right
of
way?
That, but yeah.
Well, I mean, there's more, right?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
like, you know, but like,
We're not pansies. We just love everybody.
but no, but like, what I'm saying is like even raising kids that way has created geniuses and great things and progress. So is it a mix of both? Is it one or the other? Is it, you know?
I think it's always gonna be,
stuff,
you know,
yeah.
you gotta treat every kid separately. Some kids need the shit beat out of them. I've
Oh,
had a few of those.
Addie's one of those, dude. I mean,
It's
I
kids that-
spanked her because she screamed in my face. Like, one of her things is, you'll go, Addie, go throw that away. No! Rah! Just like start growling in your face, dude. And so I was telling her, she's like, what was she? Oh, she grabbed one of the other kids' toys and said, mine, and ran off. And I'm like, go to timeout. She walks right up to me, sticks her little ass out and goes, no! And I go, right? She goes, ha 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 ha! And starts spanking herself. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I've never had to deal with that before. The other two responded to that. You know, like, the other two kids, they started biting when they were like 8 months because of teething.
Yeah.
They bit me one time. I said, did you like that? No, Dad, I didn't. Okay, Addie. Ha! Wow. And then she starts biting. I'm like, who the fuck are you? Where the fuck did you come from? And why are you this crazy? Like, I don't know how to deal with you. Because she doesn't. She's seen her sisters do it, and she knows what the like. To me, being the youngest, or you know, in that trio, she's the youngest. You know, she sees that. Okay, well, they got in trouble, but
the ramifications
aren't as bad. It's all right if I toughen myself up. You know, my dad won't know what to do because you know, but like. But yeah, and so like creating that adversity and stuff, what we were talking about, like it has to be there because you have to learn from it. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, because my younger cousin, like he's in the middle of the three, so it's 2 boys and then the girl, she's the youngest. So right now she's the one who's like going around being crazy. Excuse me. She'll like her thing was that she would beat up on them, and they're just like, please go away, like just leave us alone. Like that's her thing. Earlier today she did something, and it was just double crying just all over the apartment today. Because she did something, and you know, kids are where they super overreact. Mom hit her on the arm, and mom even said, like, if she can look at it, think about it, she'll freak out about it. Because that's what she did. Because nothing happened, and then she was just like, and like because nothing happened when she did it. But then it was like, just go. She was telling like, go sit down and eat, and that's when she started to freak out about it. And then my dad was like, turning the TV, and she's like, no! It's like she reached out like she could stop the TV. Like it was funny because she like looked at the TV and was like reaching like it was somebody died. Like, it was funny,
crazy, dog.
it was just freaking out. So
Kids do the darndest
it's
things.
just be different. And then the oldest is so funny because I can tell that he just be dealing with it. Like he just be in it. Like he just be like sitting there sometimes. Like he was like they're in trouble, not doing homework. She's just crying, and he's just on like his DS, and I'm like, I can tell he's just like. I'm here. Because like even my grandmother said it one time. Like it was like last year. She was like, just take him somewhere because he's always like, just take him because he needs to get away from them sometimes. And they're only like, he's only like 2 years older than his younger brother. And
you can
like,
tell he tortured.
Yeah, like when I took them to school, this was the first time they hadn't been in school together. So, two totally different perspectives, because it was the first time that they were in school separately, but it was also the first time in this new school, because he went to the same place from like 2nd to 5th grade. So he was, I asked him about like, making new friends. He's like, I'm kind of excited and nervous and stuff. I was like, what do you think about not having your brother there? And I was like, I guess. Like, it was a totally different, it was like, it didn't matter. And then I asked his younger brother, and his actual reaction was like, it won't be safe. I was like, what does that even mean? He was talking about bullies though. But I was like, what does that mean? When he first said it, I was like, what is he talking about? Like,
yeah, but that's the thing, like, I had it done to me, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do this because I'm the oldest. I'm like, I'm not gonna do this. ZZ's not my other kids' protectors. She doesn't have to be protective and be. But I'll be a monkey's fucking uncle. She is like she.
It's just automatic, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she and like we'll treat her like that too. Why is she getting into that? I'm sorry, Dad. Like I was helping out and I was doing all this and like it just and then I got distracted by my toy and I'm like, oh my God, that's normal. You're 5.
That's interesting. You did want to talk about like being an older sibling.
Well, right, and I didn't mean to get into it, but like that's the thing. Like I try so hard to like treat them all the same and because I love them all the same. I really do. But like I treat them all so different.
And I think it's impossible to treat anyone as, even twins, you won't. And that's, it's partly you as a person where, and well, I guess it's more the people that you're looking after, because you'll see the most minute things, especially as a parent. You'll see the most minute differences between your kids, even if it's twins, and you'll be like instantly, well, that's a different reaction or a different way to interact, and then it just
like ZZ is a lot like me, and so I have that in my mind, and I'm like, okay, when I was a kid and dealing with this, I wanted it handled this way, so I try that, and then I'm like, oh, that didn't work, maybe this, and like Lulu is so smart, like she so she drew on the wall today and on the stairs, and I'm like, your Christmas money, you're gonna have to use that to get paint, right? She looks at me, stone cold, and goes, "Don't forget about the brushes." I'm like, "What the fuck? Are you kidding me?" Like, like just that, like, and my wife is in the back, like, "Drop the mic, bitch!" Like, what the fuck? I know. And I looked at her, this 3-year-old fluff ball of hair, who melts my heart every day, just smacked me in the fucking verbal face.
The only thing she was missing was a motherfucker.
Yeah, I know, right? And so I'm like, but what if you don't have enough money for that? She's like, well, then you'll have to buy them because you don't want to paint with your hands. And I'm like, what? You're what? Wow. And I said, well, that means you don't get your toy, because we let them pick out, and I've told you about the change and all that stuff, and so like, you don't get to pick out your toy everyone. She's like, that's all right, my birthday's coming up. I'm like, what the fuck? Are you? Yeah! I'm like,
big picture.
Because I try so hard to make them independent and think for themselves and not need for nothing and be a step ahead of the game. And I'm just like, I'm creating these fuckers that are gonna either change the world or fuck it up, dude. Because I don't.
I've thought about this. I'm well aware of the consequences.
Yes.
And also that I have a birthday coming up.
Yeah. And I know you ain't not gonna get me anything on my birthday because my mom's right here. So and to say like, well, don't forget about the brushes. Like, hey, if you're gonna do it right, motherfucker. Like, like I'm just sitting there like, damn. And then it's just, it's just crazy. And so she says that, and ZZ being the oldest is like, Lulu, well, Dad, don't worry. I'll use the rest of my Christmas money to buy the brushes. I'm like, that's not the point. I created someone who wants to protect these people. Dang. Even when they fuck up, like even when they're like being little shits or whatever. She's like, don't worry about this guy.
She still got they back. Man.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
So,
dang. But Invisiblekatana, one of your homies apparently got locked up. What's going on with that?
No, this wasn't a personal story.
I thought it was. The way you said it, I was like, damn, dude, I'm so ready. Like, I'm ready for the moment he found out. I'm ready for this shit. Right. Motherfucker.
No, this is not a personal story. This is something that I found. I just thought it was a really good story because with how everything's crazy. This is a story, and it's a dude, I want to say his name was Daniel K. He's from the UK. And he went to jail for 2 years over, like, and this fits perfectly with all the crazy allegations and stuff that's happening. He went to 2 years, to prison for 2 years for false allegations. And what it was that he was with this girl. I think he said at the time he was 24. And I think she was, just to put this out there, this was not in the U.S. It was in the UK. The age of consent is different. I think it's 16.
I think so.
So he was talking to like this 16-year-old girl, and they had like a relationship or whatever. And then she had these false allegations of rape. And so they had these conversations where she edited out, I think it was Facebook conversations. And he was like, well, for me, I deleted it because it was like just a bunch of effed up stuff. I didn't think that, like they had a relationship and it just ended up being really crappy. So I got rid of all these bad conversations because, like, for him, no reason to get, trust me, I would be like, keep everything.
Mistake number one.
He was like, I got rid of that stuff because I was like, I didn't think it was worth it. So he goes to court and it's like all these edited conversations between them about how he abused her, and like the way they made it seem was like he abused her and stuff like that. He was apologizing for being this horrible person, and that's not what happened. And so it turned out he was in prison and he mentioned it to someone, and they were like, oh, they probably have your messages archived. And that's all it took. He told that to his sister-in-law, and in the article I read, she was like, it took me 2 minutes to find those actual messages that he sent to her in their whole conversation. And it's like, if it took me 2 minutes, how was there no research done by the police when this went to court? Something like that. Yeah. And it's like, how is there not a real investigation done for this guy? And it was just like, got you, and that was it. And like, court case and everything, and they didn't do the simple research it took her, a couple of minutes to do once he got that information. Damn. And it was just like a crazy story to hear, which is one of those things, like, I mean, all I can say is I'm glad it was 2 years, because there's stuff where people be in jail for 30 years over fake stuff. So it's like, in the context of things, it was like, because he went in at 24, he came out at 26. So it was like, in one regard, you got to at least be glad about that, because it's like that, there's people who go in as teenagers and you come on in like 40, and then it's like, oh yeah, you were innocent the whole time and we just didn't know or didn't care. Yeah,
sorry, not sorry, right? So
and guess what? It's face scan on phones now. Dun dun dun.
Yeah, technology. But
shut the fuck up. They've had face scan since the Mega, dude. Since Samsung like 4.
Now Samsung always had it.
Yeah.
Now your phone can.
It's just a crazy story that I heard about, and I just especially insane. In the wake of like all the allegations that we have, because we talked about before, people just being like, oh, they may have done this, and there's no investigations.
Right. And
in our context, it was simple because it was just like you're put into a camp. This was like he actually went through court and like, I'm innocent, and I'm trying to tell you guys this. It's like, no, you're a rapist, and now you're going to prison for 2 years, and it's like, man, it's like a system that did nothing for him. Like I said, it took his sister-in-law a couple of minutes.
Because that's the dangerous thing about.
But see, this is my question about that, like the sister-in-law and all that stuff. If one of my kids was in jail and they're telling me they're innocent, I would do everything I could to prove that. So why didn't she do the Facebook thing during the process?
Yeah, I was about to joke about that.
I mean, a lot of people probably wouldn't have thought that.
Did you come up with this idea? I've been in here too long, I'm in jail for rape now. I'm going in the main population today.
Would you even think that though? I mean, if you deleted yourself off Facebook, I wouldn't have really thought they would be archived to the point where I could look up.
But I know that about Facebook because I'll always joke and be like, I'm on Facebook, and not really. You're archiving stuff and everything.
Everything you ever posted, I don't care. Because we know that about Twitter, just based on celebrities deleting posts and they pop back up. Now people can either save them when you're a celebrity, but we all know that social media sites.
Everything text messages are saved through phones. Like,
exactly. You can
people get busted. Yeah.
Anything digital can be brought back to life.
Yeah, and then I think that's another one of those things where it's like people don't think about that enough, I guess. And especially in his case, honestly, even with me being so literate in technology, I'd be freaking the F out about that. I mean, maybe not me, but somebody else would probably be freaking out way more than me. I'd probably be like, nah, got you.
Well, at least I get 3 meals a day of cable television, just as long as I can watch it on Thursdays.
No, this is the conversation between me and Invisiblekatana. You have a collect call from Invisiblekatana. If you'd like to accept this call, all right, fuck it out. What's going on, Demetrius? Yeah, they got me, right? Mm-hmm. No, yeah, they say I should do about 7 to 10. No, it's 7 to 10, yeah.
I mean, I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, I deleted some messages, but I'm just gonna make the best of the situation. I mean, good for you. You'll never call his phone again, but yeah, no, good luck with your situation. But yeah, that's fucked up. But yeah, I was about to say, that's always dangerous, man, when women come out, right? Because you can't just go and say, oh, she's a liar, then you victim shaming. And, you know, if you go for the other way, like, well, maybe this guy didn't do it, maybe we should do the research. Oh, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, because when you a guy in a situation, it's like, people...
Yeah, but that's not, I mean, that situation predominantly is like a woman's situation, but I think that happens in every topic of that, like hate crimes and all that stuff. I mean, there's been accounts on all spectrums of every person being off free because they didn't really do it or whatever. I mean, I think it's just what the climate is at the time, you know?
And so definitely, you know, like I said, like the element of, especially, you know, like, man, it just really sucks when it's like you have the system is supposed to be there, like,
but it's some individual.
Not. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's like, the point. It's not like,
like he even says in art, like, you know, putting your faith in the system that doesn't care. Because he even said it was like she probably could have just wrote it on a napkin and that would have been it for me, considering what they didn't do anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing too. Like we've talked about it long time ago, but like, you know, I've been arrested before and I've been in trouble and I was fine because my best friend was his dad was the chief of police and, you know, of who I am, and all I had to say was, I'm really sorry, I won't do it again, you know. But like people who have gotten the same things as me have lost their whole lives just because of what they look like or who they are.
Oh my God! Tell me why. Somebody who we both know, I tell you off air.
Okay.
Whose boyfriend, she's a female, got in trouble. And yes, he's Caucasian. But when the coworker was telling me about it, I'm like, oh man, damn, they gonna get him. And so I came up on her the other day, like, dang, so what happened with your boyfriend? Like, you hold him down? Like, I would kind of joke about it, like, you know, you ain't gonna fuck nobody else. Like, she was like, oh, you know what happens? He just got a few stops on the wrist. He said everything's cool. Like, no time, nope. I'm like, but you said, did you say he? Yep. So I'm like, oh, okay. Good,
and I mean, that's the thing. You know, they choose like,
oh, that's good for him.
It's just, you know, like, there's killings and shootings and horrible things that happen every day, and yet we don't hear about it unless it's a
big political,
not even a big political, but like a young white woman. You know, like, it just baffles me that like this guy could get 2 years, and I'm just hearing about the story from you because you happened upon it. Like, why isn't that bigger news? Why isn't that something that we're conscious about?
Because I know it's fairly new that he got out, but. You know, like it's in the UK.
I think
too,
other stations might pick it up, but it is one of those things like.
Well, and it'll be wedged between. Guess what the Kardashians are doing tonight?
Exactly.
You know, and
like
the top 10 best dresses at the Golden Globes.
Yeah, they're gonna say that afterwards in lighter news. Yeah. which translates to forget about that bullshit. Forget about that depressing shit.
Let's show you a cat on a wave runner.
There you go.
Yeah. You know.
So yeah, man.
Or my favorite is they do something fucked up like that, and then they're like, but. The military vet who got his home back, and then all of a sudden you're back to patriotism and we're a good country and all this, and you forgot about.
You know, I always found it kind of weird, and you know, we can end on this, but how the way news channels transition between stories.
There's no more news anymore. There's no more news anymore. It's all opinionated. It's all their version of it. And you know, if you look at religion, if you look at things that have lasted. It's because the versions can change. It's because they can change their opinion. I mean, we say it all the time. It's not history. It's his story. Right? So, you know, like, I just...
Yeah, it's just crazy. And, you know, like you were saying, specifically, the transitions are definitely just... this happened, that happened. Big news, small news, and it's like the easy way to switch through.
Or sad. I've literally watched the news where it's like, okay, a mother drowned her baby today. And other news, Toys R Us is coming out with... I'm like, can I get a second
to process the fact that I just...
Fuck Toys R Us. Like, I want to know about the drowning, you know?
Yeah, like dead babies. In related news, Toys R Us is gone.
It's like, Mom drowned baby. Because on Christmas Day she didn't want to. She didn't want to tell us she didn't have shotguns that are on sales at Toys R Us. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like it's just
Speaking of killed babies, there's a new killer toy at Toy. Like the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck did you transition that shit?
Or you're watching the same news story and you flip it to CNN and it's like, Trump is the worst motherfucker on the whole planet. He's gonna kill everybody. Turn it to Fox News. This is the greatest decision he's ever made. And you're like, what the fuck?
You see the same issue, two perspectives. The new bill that Trump's trying to pass, that's gonna be hell for everybody. Democrats today are criticizing Trump for helping the people. It's like, damn. Yeah, what's the truth? Is it actually a such thing as truth, or you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's crazy. It is. Conclusion: don't watch the news. Don't even watch it. It's all propaganda. It's all mind control. Mm-hmm. You are being mind controlled. Hey, do you like the band Rush?
Kind of.
Get the fuck out of it. What about you, Rush?
Yeah, I got some songs. As a hilarious movie once said. Great line. It was like, why don't you get some variety? Rush is variety, bitch. I love that line.
Hey man, I love Rush, man.
I like Rush.
We have assumed control. We have assumed control. But yeah, y'all, this was today's podcast. You know who it is. It's your boy, The Anarchist. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, at AnarchistBeats with a Z. Invisiblekatana, man. Where can they find you?
I am at Invisiblekatana across the board.
That's what's up.
And I'm Mr. Fantastic.
Yep, you want to email
fewnobodies at gmail.com.
Few Nobodies podcast
at gmail.com. The Few Nobodies podcast at gmail.com.
Or at the Few Nobodies on both Twitter and Instagram as well. So get in touch with us there. Let us know. Comments below and all that. Just a lot of different ways to get in touch with us. So definitely let us know. Conspiracies, whatever madness is in the news next. It'll be something. It'll be something. Yeah.
Because y'all dumb motherfuckers gonna go back and watch the news. So we gotta talk about the shit that y'all thinking about. Because y'all be in mind control. But we out of here. Peace.